Hi, my name is Beth, and you're listening to the CannaFitness and Nutrition Podcast, where we are hanging out at the intersection of fitness, nutrition, and cannabis. Thank you so much for pressing play today. If you're new here, welcome. Thanks for checking it out. We're all about talking about all things fitness, nutrition, weight loss, and cannabis. And if you're back, then thank you. I love that you're back, and I love hearing from you. So thanks for reaching out with questions. I'm always happy to answer questions to the best of my ability, or help you find any resources that you're looking for. You know, if I can't answer the question, let's find out where we can, right? So anyway, today I have a good one for you today. 8 ways replacing alcohol with cannabis helps you lose weight, right? So eight shifts that are going to happen when you replace alcohol with cannabis. Now, let me tell you why we're talking about this too. This episode is going to come out right around the end of September. And so what's happening is CannaFit is having a huge Sober October promotion because, well, one, the name is catchy. So, of course, let's jump on the catchy name, Sober October. But also, what a great time to talk about using cannabis instead of alcohol. Because, you know, in my world where everybody is looking to lose weight and everybody's trying to be healthier and be in better shape and look better, and this time of year, everyone starts getting nervous about the holidays and weight gain around the holidays. Well, what makes a big shift in your weight, especially speaking to, you know, my middle-aged women like myself out there, but really, you know, men, women of any age, this makes a huge difference, is when you give up alcohol. I could tell you story after story of clients throughout the years, and, you know, more than just my clients, but also like just gym members. You know, I've been a trainer. If you're new here, I've been a personal trainer for about 16 years. And, you know, through most of that, I taught group fitness classes, which was me in front of, you know, anywhere from 2 to 45 people. So, you know, I interacted with a lot of people in the gyms over the years. And gosh, just so many times people would say, oh my gosh, Beth, I finally stopped drinking, or I finally, you know, gave up, my one drinking night or one of my drinking nights. And all of a sudden the weight just fell off, like without even trying. And, you know, people that had been killing themselves in the gym, you know, coming to all the classes and just so frustrated, you know, beating themselves up almost in the gym, you know, never missing a workout because just desperate to lose weight, but also not willing to give up that nightly glass of wine, the happy hour after work, or the, you know, wine nights with your friends on the weekend, whatever it is, you know, unwilling to give that up. And then when they finally gave it up, they lost a whole bunch of weight really fast, every single time. So that's why I'm such a big proponent of switching to cannabis, because, you know, you can still relax and kick back and have fun and have a buzz. But one, the buzz feels better than an alcohol buzz. And two, it's better on your body, and that way it doesn't hurt your weight loss goals. You know, this is usually one of the biggest things I talk to my clients about is, you know, what's your alcohol consumption like? If your goal is weight loss, then we need to figure out your alcohol consumption. And I will tell you that those people who have chosen to lean on cannabis and lean away from alcohol, it doesn't mean giving it up completely, but lean away from it and lean into the cannabis. Those are my clients that are losing weight. So my job today, if that hasn't convinced you enough already, is to give you some real actual things that are going to happen. 8 different things that are going to happen when you lean away from alcohol and lean into cannabis. And especially if you're considering Sober October. So, Sober October, here we go. The first thing that's going to happen is you're going to sleep better, right? I mean, alcohol may knock you out, but it's not really, you're not getting the sleep you think, right? So alcohol may knock you out, but it disrupts your REM and your deep sleep. So you're not deep sleeping. And those, unfortunately, not only if you don't, you're going to feel shitty if you don't get your deep sleep, but those are the phases your body uses to repair muscles, right? Repair from your workout, repair everything, even just your immune system, balance your hormones, like your hunger hormones, and burn fat. That's when all of your metabolic processes really happen overnight while you're sleeping. However, cannabis, especially, if you're looking at your indicas, your CBD, CBN, they improve your sleep depth and quality. THC is great for helping you fall asleep, but CBD is really what you want for staying asleep. So if you're out there looking for things to purchase, I would look for something that's got a lot of CBN in it. I think that you're going to get the best of both worlds that way. So if you replace alcohol with cannabis, you're going to get better sleep, and that's going to make you feel better and help your body work better. But while it's working better, you're going to lose weight because it's going to be burning fat during your deep sleep. It's going to be balancing your hormones during your deep sleep and repairing your muscles. So therefore, you will have more energy to move, eat well, stay consistent. So you can finally wake up at 6 a.m. and go for that walk and not just drag yourself to the coffee pot, right? All right, number 2, lower cortisol. And that contributes directly to easier fat release. So here's what's going on. You've heard of cortisol. It's all over the internet, right? Cortisol is a stress hormone, and your body releases a normal amount of cortisol in the morning. It's a good stress. It's the kind that gets you revved up, right? You rev your engine, that's cortisol. But you can have too much cortisol, right? And so if you get your normal amount, we don't want any additional stress to increase that amount. We don't need more. We're good. We got as much as we need. That's it. But alcohol actually spikes your cortisol, right? And unfortunately, one of the things that cortisol does is it tells your body to store fat, especially around your belly. Now, on the other hand, cannabis, one of the beautiful things that it does is it goes into your body and helps to regulate your cortisol stress hormones so that you have, one, feeling more calm. I mean, we all talk about how calm and chill and laid back we feel when you use cannabis. Well, that's because it's regulating your cortisol. Yes, right? So now you have lower cortisol, and your body can now go back to a fat burning state. This is where you want it. You want it in a low stress state so it can release fat. So if you're drinking alcohol, you're spiking your cortisol. If you're going to lean away from alcohol, lean towards cannabis, you're going to lower your cortisol. All right. Cool, right? Number 3, fewer cravings. Here's what happens. Alcohol drops your blood sugar. Yes. And it messes with your hunger hormones, your ghrelin and your leptin, and causes rebound cravings, right? So that's why when you drink, you get hungry. Yes, because your blood sugar drops, suddenly you need food. We've all felt that, right? You're not sure if you're hungry because you can't feel any hunger, and you can't feel any fullness either when you're drinking, right? I mean, if you ever heard my cookie cake story, then you can know that one time I was not very good at drinking. I would just drink way too much. But anyway, so one time I made my ride take me to the grocery store after a night of drinking at the bar with everybody. And again, just too much to drink here. I thought it would be really neat to get a cookie cake, right? So I got it. And then we got back to the house and I ate it. Like I just, no, I wasn't hungry. I wasn't full. It was just there, and I think it only became a story because there were other people there and they thought it was really funny. So that's all. But anyway, my point is you do things like that. Like you just eat cookie cake in the middle of the night because, it's pizza, right? Everybody goes out for pizza after a night at the bar. You're not hungry. You're not full. You're just eating food because your blood sugar was low. So you needed it. Anyway, cannabis doesn't do that. And here's where we got to talk about the munchies for a minute, because I know that the munchies get a bad rap, and cannabis gets a bad rap because of them, because certain types of cannabis can stimulate your hunger. The trick is to just know what types those are, right? So you're looking at indicas, okay? But if you like indicas, well, here, let's look at the terpenes. Let's make sure that what you're using doesn't have the terpenes in it that stimulate your appetite. So we can really narrow down what you're using. We can also add CBD. CBD works almost opposite in this instance. And so CBD suppresses your appetite because it doesn't turn on the receptor the way THC does. So you can add CBD to your THC. I do it with my dry herb vape. I just literally mix a little bit of this flower and a little bit of that flower, make a little concoction, and then boom, magic. It takes out the munchies. So I don't worry about it at all, actually. So that's an easy thing to do. There's THCV, right? Which is a little bit confusing because it doesn't make you high. So there's no intoxication to it, even though it's called THC, but they put the V on the end to distinguish it. And it behaves a little more like CBD in the body. I don't know why they don't just call it that, but it's all about the molecules. So this THCV suppresses appetite. And, you're going to start to see a lot of this being sold now because it's going to appeal to those of us who are concerned about the munchies. And so you can again add that to your regular THC so that you can still have your buzz, but also not have to worry about the munchies. So, but all that to say is that it's manageable and you can go around it. Plus, when you use cannabis, unlike alcohol, you stay more clear-headed. You still make somewhat reasonable decisions. And I'll say that varies depending on your level of intoxication, of course. But alcohol just completely changes your brain chemistry in terms of how you start to behave, right? Like I always say, there's tons of bar fights, but you never hear about a stoner fight, right? It just doesn't happen. Anyway, fewer cravings. All right. Number 4, reduced inflammation. Alcohol is an inflammatory. It causes water retention, joint pain, gut dysfunction. Oh, we all know that's true. However, cannabis has anti-inflammatory properties, which can reduce bloating and body discomfort. I've never woken up after using cannabis and felt as disgusting as I did, because I haven't drank in a long time, but as disgusting as I used to when I drank. Never once. It's just it doesn't even happen. So therefore, you're less bloated, your pants feel better, your face is not puffy, and your rings fit, no problem, right? Okay, we're on number 5, more energy. Why? Because you have better sleep, less inflammation, and a calmer, more steady blood sugar, right? So therefore, you're gonna have more energy, fewer crashes, right? I mean, using cannabis can also reduce anxiety around movement. So you're more likely to get consistent movement in. And that's the name of the game, the CannaFit, is we're just trying to be consistent with our exercise, right? You don't have to go, train for a Spartan race or run marathons or do anything insane like climb Mount Everest unless you want to. We just want to be doing something consistently, right? So you're just going to have more energy because you're ditching the thing that drains all of your energy. There's going to be less emotional eating. Again, from a lot of the things I've already shared, alcohol numbs your emotions, but the rebound is still there. So you're going to have anxiety, guilt, shame afterwards, right? Whereas cannabis supports emotional regulation, mindfulness, nervous system safety, helping you pause before reaching with food. there's that pause. And I've talked about this quite a bit in other episodes, but that's really one of the main things we do in CannaFit is just talk about that pause. It's all about the pause, the moment, and cannabis helps us slow down, right? So you're not eating your feelings at 10 p.m. You're journaling instead of binging. You're working through the moment instead of just reaching for the chips. You notice the trigger and you breathe through it. Number 7, more body awareness. So you have true hunger clarity. Alcohol just, again, numbs your emotions, right? So you're not able to, like I've said earlier, you're not able to clearly distinguish whether you're hungry or full or what, right? So without that, your cues sharpen. You notice your hunger, you notice your fullness. You can distinguish between whether it's that or you're just stressed or bored or emotional, right? And number eight, confidence. Switching to cannabis from alcohol is going to boost your confidence because all of the things we just talked about, it's a cycle, right? It's a frustrating cycle of not feeling well, not getting any closer to your goals, feel like you're spinning your wheels and just being frustrated over and over again. But just taking control of your habits and your rituals. And because there's so many positive outcomes from cannabis over alcohol, that is, as you start to lean into the cannabis and away from your alcohol, you're going to feel so much better and be so much more satisfied. It's going to boost your confidence. And I know that may not even be the sexiest thing that you want right now, confidence, but deep down, we all do. And it may not be as conscious, like I said, as I'm making it sound, but you're going to feel so much better and it's going to give you motivation. And what you're going to feel is something's working. And that is that satisfaction is that we all want from our goals, right? We want to be feeling that it's working. All this effort is not for nothing. It's actually working. So you're going to be able to look in the mirror and smile. You're going to say no to the glass of wine because you care how you feel, because you feel better when you use cannabis over alcohol. And you're going to be able to wear the shorts, wear the bathing suit, wear the bikini if you want it, not afraid to be in the pictures. And that's what I want for you. That is what I want for you. So here's what we're doing. Sober October, I am offering some special coaching packages. I usually only have one program that's 12 weeks long. And, it's a full course where you learn all about cannabis and you become an expert in cannabis as well as, a proficient in your own habits. So building healthy eating habits, whatever that looks like for you, whether it's, to stop emotional eating, stop stress eating, or whether it's to try to eat more consistently because you don't eat enough, whatever that looks like for you, plus, your consistent movement and whatever that looks like for you too, whether that means that you're personal training also, or whether that means that you go to Orange Theory 3 times a week, or that you run outside, or maybe you walk and you lift weights, whatever. It's just creating the sustainable habits. And that takes at least 12 weeks usually. So, but for Sober October, I'm offering a special 3-session, I'm calling it a reset package, because usually when people come to me, if this sounds like you, you're not new to this. You're not new to exercise. You're not new to healthy eating. You've just gotten off track. And that's what I really help you do, is just get yourself back on track. And so, 3 sessions is probably the minimum that could really make sure we cover everything. But again, I'm offering a special 3-session package of coaching sessions. Now, the fun part about all the coaching in Sober October is that we're collaborating with my friend Dawn, otherwise known as the MILF Nfused. So she is the coolest And I guess it's probably a compliment to her if I call her a MILF. So we'll just say she's the coolest MILF. And she makes nano-infused healthy things. She makes drink mixes. She infuses liquid IV. She infuses C4 pre-workout. She infuses powdered peanut butter. She has a infused, like kind of a light coating for almonds. She has mints. I mean, all these things that are not, not huge, not having to eat a whole chocolate bar. It doesn't have to be a cookie, right, to be infused. It doesn't have to be a gummy. It can actually be something functional. And I'm obsessed with her drink mixes because she makes like a lime and a lemon like little squeeze where you just put the little bit of drops in any plain drink and then it makes it infused. So all kinds of cool things. So bottom line is all coaching packages that start this in between now and through October will also be receiving a box of MILF goodies so that you can also see all the cool things she makes and get set up if you want to set up a subscription with her and buy more things from her because there's so many cool things that she makes. And so we put together a couple of boxes that we thought would be fun sample boxes. So that's what we're offering. So coaching and MILF products. Anyway, Sober October, it's just going to be fun. Tell your friends. This is a fun time to try one of the infused drinks that are out there if you haven't already too. If you haven't tried, there's some you can get online in the mail, like those Happy, HAPPI, happy hour drinks. And then your local dispensary also will have a collection of probably higher dosed drinks and drink options. But we'll talk about that next time. But for now, just thanks for listening. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions or want me to answer something in an episode. Email me. It's beth@cannafitnessnutrition.com or DM me on Instagram. It's Beth_CannaFitnessNutrition. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.